As you've heard, my name is Jennifer Chiku. I'm a project manager. I work for GIZ, which is one of the institutions under the German Development Corporation. We are a technical implementation organization, meaning we implement development projects on behalf of the German government here in Kenya. And I lead two projects on e-commerce and digital trade. One is called the Pan-African E-commerce Initiative that supports SMEs, and one is the EU EAC DEEP project, also on e-commerce trust. So when I was invited by Martin to speak on this topic, I was actually very privileged. I thought it was very interesting for me. Around March, earlier this year, in this very hall, we had Teki through the Teki Women Festival. And during that festival, 25 trailblazing women were selected as top 25 digital women. And with that, also 25 top girls in digital were selected. And I love the concept of the project, of the Teki project, how it works, because we were paired to, for the women to mentor the young girls. And I was paired with, to mentor a young lady called Cintoya. Cintoya Kipuri, is she here? Is Cintoya here? Okay, so it looks like she's not here. But it's been quite a journey, learning to be a mentor, and also the mentoring journey. And I want to share some of the learnings and insights that have been, because a lot of you are now graduating, you're going into the workforce, and I know that you've been struggling with a lot of areas. One common theme is people say, well, they want 10 years of experience and you've just started working or something like that for an entry position. And you also need somebody to be able to help you to navigate. So I actually wrote a speech because I was told this is a keynote speech. I actually did write a speech on my experiences, and I'll be interjecting in between my speech just to let you know how it's been going. Because when I've been walking along with Cintoya, and I've seen that she's gotten so many different opportunities in just these few months that I've been able to know her. And we've really been able to navigate the journey. She's been calling me, so Jennifer, I have this opportunity and this opportunity. I don't know which one to go for. And then I've been able to talk to her, and all this is in my speech. So entering into the workforce is an exciting moment. It's also one of the most uncertain periods in a young person's life. You're expected to be capable, adaptable, confident, productive, often all at once, while you're still expected to be learning how the workplaces really function. Many young people arrive armed with qualifications, technical skills, ambition, yet they feel underprepared for the unwritten rules of professional life. This is where mentorship actually matters. Mentorship is not simply about career advice. It is about belonging. It's about guidance, perspective, and growth. It's about ensuring that talent does not go to waste because someone lacked access, confidence, or direction at a very critical moment. The reality facing young people today is for many, the transition from school to work is not linear. It's often fragmented. It may involve internships, short-term contracts, gig work, underemployment. I think Julia talked about this very, very well, or long job searches. Even those who secure formal employment quickly often struggle to understand workplace culture, expectations, and the power dynamics. Young professionals are expected to figure things out quickly. How do I speak up without being disrespectful? How do I ask for help without appearing incompetent? How do I navigate office politics? How do I recover from mistakes? How do I plan a career when the future feels uncertain? These are not questions answered by textbook training manuals. They are learned through experience, and crucially, through people. Without mentorship, many young people learn through trial and error, often at a high personal cost. With mentorship, learning becomes guided, safer, and intentional. And that just reminds me of someone who says, you have to learn by experience. No, there are better ways to learn. You can learn by being told. You can learn by observation. You don't always have to learn by experience. If I've walked through murky waters and I tell you, be careful, there's a crocodile in the water, you don't have to jump in and say, no, let me find out for myself. It's obviously a better strategy to trust and learn because you've seen I've been bitten, right? And I can be able to tell you. So mentorship is a bridge between potential and opportunity. Talent is universal, but opportunity is not. And I think Juliet talked about that. You can have talent, but the opportunity is doesn't always correlate with the talent. Mentorship acts as a bridge between what young people can become and what they are able to access. A mentor does more than share knowledge. They open the doors that mentees may not even know exist. And that brings me to my experience with Centoya. When I met her, she was out, she was looking for this and that, and she wanted to enter into the communications field. And here I am in GIZ, I'm in a position of influence, and I was able to tell her, hey, this is a phenomenal woman. And I decided to take her along and actually inculcate her into our company. And she's actually just about to complete her internship period with us. I was able to open that door for her as her mentor. And I was able to do that at our company where I work because I have that kind of influence. But it doesn't have to be at your own mentor's workplace. Mentors are able to help you and guide you also with the networks that they have. So mentors, they help young people to understand their career pathways and options, to recognize their strengths and their blind spots, to set realistic but ambitious goals, to make informed decisions at crucial junctures, and to avoid common pitfalls. Sometimes the most powerful thing a mentor can say is, you belong here. For young people from underrepresented backgrounds, whether due to social economic status, gender, geography, or other barriers, mentorship can be transformational. It counters imposter syndrome. It replaces isolation with connection. It turns uncertainty into possibility. Every workplace has two systems. There's the formal system, that's the policies, that's the contracts, you have your job descriptions, that's the formal system. And secondly, there's the informal system, and that determines how decisions are really made. How influence works, how to communicate effectively, when to push and when to pause. This is called the soft skills. You all know about the IQ, but I don't know if any of you have heard of the EQ. EQ, emotional quotient. Yeah? And the soft skills that are needed in the workplace. This is often what actually determines how you progress in the workplace as well. So, young people often struggle not because they lack the ability, but because no one has explained these unwritten rules. Mentors translate the workplace. They explain the context. They help the mentees read situations, understand feedback, interpret setbacks accurately without self-blame or discouragement. A good mentor helps a young person to see that one rejection does not define a career, one mistake does not define competence. Growth takes time and reflection. On this, I'll even talk about my own perspective. Over the last 4 years, I've had the privilege of actually being mentored. My boss is my mentor. Oh, there she is. My boss is my mentor, and I can say over the last 4 years, my career has grown leaps and bounds since actually being mentored, since being told, this is how you go. This is, ensure that you talk to this person. Actually holding my hand in a meeting and introducing me to the people who actually make decisions, the country director, the ambassador. Often I'm in meetings, I've been in meetings, and in the back end, she's typing very, quickly in the back end, chatting me and telling me, speak now, say something, interject now. It doesn't even matter what she doesn't even know what she wants me to say. She just knows the point is, I need to speak. I need to be visible. And that's the same thing a mentor is going to be able to help you with. Mentorship builds more than careers, it builds people. The benefits of mentorship go beyond promotions or job performance. It builds confidence. It builds resilience by normalizing the challenges, because you know that you will face challenges in your work as you're transitioning from education into the workplace. A mentor is able to help you build that resilience and to build ethical judgment. She talked about on Mondays people being sick and having a headache. A mentor is able to recognize that and tell you, hey, knock it off. You're entering the workplace. This is not time to be. Maybe you could do that when you were in class, in campus, even though you shouldn't. But this is not the place to do it. And it also builds leadership and self-awareness by offering honest feedback. Young people who are mentored are more likely to take initiative, to seek learning opportunities and envision long-term careers rather than short-term survival. They are also more likely in time to become mentors themselves, creating a cycle of support that strengthens organizations and communities. We need more mentors, and a lot of people don't know the value of having a mentor. Just someone who is older, who's gone before you, who you can talk to when you're not very clear about what to do. Organizations that invest in mentorship, they see higher retention of young talent, they see faster skills development, stronger organizational culture, and increased diversity. The world of work is changing, and it's changing rapidly. Technology is reshaping jobs. Career paths are less predictable. Only recently, we were developing the consumer protection policy for Kenya, and also the e-commerce policy. Both are documents that are being developed this year. And you'd be surprised how much those documents cover the top emerging topics like AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, all these emerging technology, the Internet of Things. They are really being covered even at the legislative framework level. And so we are also foreseeing that that is also the trend that a lot of jobs are going to be going into. So career paths are less predictable. Skills requirements evolve constantly. And the young people are told that they must be flexible, innovative, resilient, but often without guidance on how to be any of those things. A mentor might not have all the answers, but they offer perspective. They offer perspective on how to navigate uncertainty, how to keep learning, how to adapt without losing direction, and how to align with values. In this sense, mentorship is not about preparing young people for one job, but for a lifetime of work transitions. Because even after you get your dream job in whatever company that Juliet was talking about, you might not stay there. You might go in and find it's not your dream job. And I've met quite a number of people who have experienced that. You think you see this big company with a big brand, and you think that's your dream job, only for you to do it and realize it's not it. And then there's some companies that you've never heard of, and you apply for the job and you realize you really love this. They pay better, the work culture is better, the work is better, you have more control, you have more autonomy. I actually know someone who currently really regrets that in his late 30s, and he got a job opportunity when he was younger, and he saw this company and the brand, and he thought, yes, this is where it's at. And while he had stayed in that job for about, I think a year or so, a headhunter called him and told him, and I invited him for a job interview. And he said, no. In fact, it was not a year, it was just a few weeks later. He said, no, I'm comfortable. This is where it's at. It's a nice, swanky building, it's a good brand, so he liked it. So he didn't even bother She called him a second time to join, I think it was a non-profit somewhere. And he said, no, I'm not interested. She said, you don't even want to just interview? He said, no. That remains his regret until today, because that company ended up really stifling him and really keeping him at the same level for over 10 years. The same salary he started with for over 10 years, just because he saw the brand. So sometimes it's important. A mentor is the one who's going to tell you, I know you seem like you like the place, it looks like it's nice, but you don't lose anything by just taking an interview. Take the interview, see where it goes. Sometimes, later on, this person is a good friend of mine. He went into, he was able to leave that job, and he went into another company, and he saw the offices were looking very rundown. So he said, I don't think these people can afford me. Like, everything is so rundown. But I told him, you know what, just go, do the interview. Don't look at how the environment looks like. And he was very surprised. He was surprised to learn that he's actually a very good employer, and they could not only just afford him, they could afford him 10 times over. Like, it was a lot. So sometimes it's also about organizational cultures, so don't worry about that. But a mentor is the one who's going if you have good mentorship, they'll tell you, don't brush away something just because it's a nail salon. You might be surprised that the nail salon will actually give you a much better deal than that big corporate that you're imagining. So what does this mean for us today? Young people entering the workforce, they seek mentors actively, ask questions, be open to feedback, and understand that asking for guidance is a strength, it's not a weakness. To experienced professionals here in the room, remember your first job. Remember the confusion, the fear, the hope. Offer your time, your insight, your honesty. Be the person you once needed. And to the organizations and institutions represented here, it's good to embed mentorship. So that's why I can congratulate Teki. Recognize and reward mentoring. Create spaces where learning and guidance are valued. And in conclusion, know that mentorship is not a reality, is not a luxury, it's an optional add-on. It's not a luxury, it's not an optional add-on, but it's a powerful tool for unlocking human potential. When young people are mentored, they do not just find jobs, they find direction. They do not just learn tasks, they learn judgment. They do not just survive the workforce, they shape it. The future of work depends not only on technology, policies, or markets, but on relationships, on people who take the time to guide others forward, and direct them on which way to go. So let us all commit to building a world of work where no young person has to navigate the future alone. Thank you.